Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Maybe you need a timeout.
Welcome to the Luke and Rory podcast. Here are two guys, knuckleheads if you may, who jump in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live show.
You know, it's exciting.
They've decided to take that Facebook Live show and put it into a podcast.
Oh, good for you.
Why? Because can you really get enough of Luke and Rory?
That's a good one.
Meet Luke Weaver, who's known for his dead sexy hair.
You're an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to its own.
Meet Rory Pitts, who's never found an apple cup he can't be disappointed about.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
Two guys who went to the same high school, love the same music, love sports, love movies, love their families.
Look at these clowns. Hand-picked monkeys.
All right, looks like the boys are caffeinated and ready to go.
I want to get some coffee. You want some coffee?
That's enough nonsense. Now let's join the show.
Sound good?
Turn the mic on. Oh, there we go. Now the mic's on.
All right.
It's funny. It was sounding really quiet, really good, really clean.
Oh, well.
Mic was off.
It keeps us out of trouble because you usually swear at the beginning.
That's true. That's true. I mean, when I drive for about an hour and 20 minutes to get here.
All pent up.
Yeah, you go through Gig Harbor, you go through Tacoma, you feel like you're going through Tacoma for like 6 months. And by the time I get to Puyallup, I'm like, all right, get out of the way.
How was traffic comparative to last week?
Oh, so much better. I got here an hour early.
No, nice.
Than last week.
Nice preparedness.
Yeah, so I was actually on time this week.
Good for you, bud. Good for you.
So what are we doing here?
Oh, good for you.
Where's that?
Yeah. Oh,
hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Luke and Rory Show. That's Luke.
Not
I'm
me.
Rory. That's neither of us.
Yeah, thank God.
Good
Yeah.
morning. Happy Thursday.
We brought some class to the show today.
I don't know about that, but
Oh no.
Yeah,
She
absolutely.
tells us both off camera.
depends on the day.
I'm gonna class this joint up today.
Yeah.
We'll try here.
At least raises the intellectual level a little bit.
So who's here?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
She's not talking to me this morning, so.
Busy morning.
Hey,
And
everyone.
that's the show. Have a good day.
Yeah. Everyone, go ahead and pop it up there if you want. This is obviously you guys know my amazing, beautiful wife, Rachel, is a lender with Cross Country Mortgage. So we're going to start this whole new thing off. We're calling it Rachel's Mortgage Minutes. So we might tinker with that. I'm not sure. But
I don't know.
I
We'll see.
like that because you don't really set a defined amount of time. Like 90 minutes is minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Could be
So
two.
That's too long for me. That's your guys' world.
Could be
I'm
two. I think two is pretty long.
If we do mortgage for 90 minutes, I might take a nap.
I do mortgage for more than 90 minutes at a time. I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah. But the whole thing is, can you bring that up one more time?
Yeah.
let's-
Let me,
So the whole
let
thing,
me,
we want to touch on a few things.
Let's go right there.
There it is. We're going to touch on a few things that you see there, or she's going to touch on a few things. We're just going to be as we say, the hand-picked monkeys on the side.
That's true.
But people always ask us about the mortgage forecast, what rates are doing. And I'm like, I don't know. Talk to my wife. So we're going to let her talk a little bit about the mortgage rate forecast, the current market. And then her and I took a class yesterday on appraisals, which are vastly important. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll spend 10 or 15 minutes on it, and then we'll get to some fun stuff like Sports Illustrated going under.
Yeah, we're not going to do boring stuff the whole time.
Yeah.
Right, but-
Well, you already got a fan.
Yay, Miss Pamela. How are you?
A rose among thorns.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong at all.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
All right, Miss Rachel.
Okay, what's going on in 2024? Okay, well, if I knew all of that, right, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. We'd be on an island somewhere if I could do all the forecasts, right?
Yeah.
I'm impressed and offended at the same time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, but okay, what's going on? Rates have dipped just a little bit, right? We know that in November
So that's good.
Yeah,
That's
just a
good.
little. I mean, let's not get crazy. We know they're what now above, little in the higher sixes, maybe sevens. Because everybody's file's different,
Right.
you know. But we're not sitting at the high sevens right now. That's super
Oh,
positive.
And for those of you out there, like who've been asking for the last year, like when are rates going to go down? When are rates going to go down? Are we ever going to see threes again?
Not for a long,
Not
long
until-
time.
Not
If
until
it
the next,
ever,
not until the next pandemic.
yes,
Um,
not that, right? We're looking at 20, 25 years, cyclical cycles here. That's not.
So we've
It's
been
not in
telling,
the forecast. If ever we're going to use history to help us out with it,
and we've
that's
been
not
telling
gonna
people keep saying, I'm waiting. You put out a nice graphic yesterday with the golf balls, like, how many golf balls rolling towards the hole, essentially like how many people are in play out looking at houses. And I've been saying, I know Rory's been saying, is like, don't let the rate stop you right now because there's less competition and you're going to end up, look, 2 years ago when there was 12 offers and you end up paying $60,000 over the list price, you're still paying all that money. Now, it's like, get the house at a reasonable price, watch the rates go down, and then refi and not have to battle everybody
100%.
else.
Let me tell you what you're not going to pay is $60,000 in 6 months to a year in just 1 point percentage, right? Or two. Let's just say it's a miracle, and we get all the way down to the low fours. That's not what the low fives. That's not what I'm forecasting at all. That's not what anybody's forecasting for this next year. I mean, really, we're looking at maybe the low sixes. Some people will say in the fives.
And I've heard that.
And
I've heard
that's
some people say
spring,
5.5.
late, third, fourth quarter,
Yeah.
But if we get to that spring when, your market is hot already, when everybody's out there to buy, just kind of like what my graphic showed, I was trying to be funny a little bit. I'm like, that's what we're seeing. We're already seeing it right now with just a quarter to a half a point dip.
Yeah.
On how many applications are coming in right now, and actually bidding wars. I mean, you guys have already had just a few.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting those. So I would say at least get everything checked, right?
Right.
I mean,
You want to buy a house.
and that's
give
my
the game.
favorite part is doing an analysis. What is it going to hurt if we do it right now? If it makes sense for your situation. But then let's check 6 months. Let's say you paid it for 6 months to a year. You're not going to pay that $50,000 or $60,000 that you're going to do, to try to get a
In a
house.
competitive market.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I think
Pam,
it's,
Kind of wrap.
and I
let's
think
sell
it's
your house
just,
in Kent and get you that ordering place.
well, and I think it's just smart for people to talk to a lender so they know where they stand. They know where they're at, where if they need to make some adjustments, pay off some cards or whatever they got to do. At least they'll know because there's nothing worse than to start looking for houses and go, oh, hey, Luke and Rory, they can help me. I'm interested in this house. And then when we say, well, make sure you talk to Rachel, and Rachel runs your numbers, and you can't afford it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which she has
you
seen
just can't
lately, actually. And that's the thing we tell people all the time is like, at least talk to you. Because people are like, well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
No, this is
the
our
rates
show.
are too high,
So we're promoting you.
Yeah.
This is our show
Unlike
today.
anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
You just got to run them.
I tell people all the time, like, they're like, well, we're not ready. We couldn't afford anything. We're not ready. I'm like, just have it. It's a softball in your credit.
Well,
It costs
Pamela's
nothing.
ready. Pamela's ready. So let's start running the numbers. Let's start making this happen, Pamela.
How much
Move to
activity we
Ording.
got, Pam? We're taking you to Ording.
Just think about that, Pamela. He'd be your neighbor. I mean,
I'm sure they would
she-
love that.
No.
She's your neighbor.
I will
but
be your roommate because I'm not leaving that back patio.
I might even come to watch Husky games on that back patio.
But that's the thing is like some people are like, oh, I can't afford anything. They talk to you, rates are coming down a little bit. Like, wow, I can actually afford $500,000 or something, and you're getting in a house and you're not paying rent anymore.
Yep.
So it's worth it to
Building
have
up
a check.
that equity,
Yeah.
Pamela
financial
says,
wealth.
I need a sugar daddy to afford that house.
You got one.
Me
man.
too.
Yeah.
It's the property.
Yeah.
Let's be real. We're working on that.
Hey,
that
Lance
sexy
says
man,
Rachel.
Hey, Lance. Yeah. I need to be talking to you. It's been a while.
I know.
You guys have had all kinds of action going on there. Two kids and
Lance is on my list to
kinds of
reach
busy.
out to.
Hey,
So
while he's on, I'm going to give him some love. Adrian Watson is on, North Mason Bulldog, and also the owner extraordinaire of Puyallup Pizza, downtown Puyallup. Guys, I want to just give a quick, just real
Do
quick
it.
because he hopped on. This guy, his wife, his family support everything we do in the community, the
Oh,
basketball
yes.
teams, the baseball team, everything you want to talk about, football teams. Like, they're giving out pizza left and right to kids in the programs and doing everything they can to give back to the community. We're just truly thankful. So if you guys want some good pizza for some great people, you want to support some awesome local business, please go to Adrian and his family at Puyallup Pizza. They're really, what they do in the community makes it all worth it.
it's
So
pizza time, right?
pizza time.
well, it was Pizza Time, and now it's just Puyallup Pizza.
Oh, I did not know this.
So Pizza Time kind of folded, and there's only a few left, and they all kind of started doing their own thing. And Adrian had this huge thing on, hey, what has got us where we're at? It's the Puyallup community, and so if we're going to change it, it's going to be Puyallup Pizza.
Very
And,
good.
in the long absolutely, buddy. We love you. And in the long run, they want to open more locations and all kinds of stuff. So anything we can do to support them. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for everything you do, man.
Go Bulldogs.
Yeah. All right, keep going here. What do we got next? Where else were we talking
No,
about?
you were just talking about, getting people,
Yeah,
just getting your numbers
Well,
checked.
I've
That's
got a
all I
question.
can say.
I got a question for you. There's a lot of people out there like our family who bought back in 20 and 21 and got a stupid low rate.
Yep.
Now, of course, our equity has increased over the last few years, but I think it, and I hear it a lot. Well, I'm not going to go look at buying right now. I'm not going to look at refinancing right now because I've got a killer rate. Is that always the case?
Just as far as what, like you don't want to, or is your only option doing a refinance, or what do you?
Oh, yeah,
mean
we were talking
by
about that calculator yesterday.
Right.
Okay, so so you're talking about a
so
blended
say
rate calculator.
So,
What
like
makes
for
sense?
example, somebody has racked up credit cards,
Okay, there you go.
or they've
That's it.
bought a car, or they're in a position
Student
where
loans, something.
student loans, where it might actually make sense to take a look at your numbers and refinance.
It might. So that becomes part of my favorite part of my job, doing financial analysis. And we do have a blended rate calculator that we can take all your credit cards, anything that, not just credit cards, right? Anything that you have. And then we're going to put all your percentages, what your balance is. It might make sense. But we also do HELOCs. So it might make sense, just like in our case, I'm like, I don't want to get rid of my 2.875 rate. Right. So, but depending on how much equity you have, maybe we're talking about a HELOC here, at a certain percentage rate that you're going to take out, pay off all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can pay off your HELOC,
Okay.
right? Because you're going to do a lot better on your
Which
percentage.
is a home equity line of credit.
So,
Right.
sorry.
So it's
home
actually
equity line of credit. There's all different kinds. I'm not going to go into that, here. That's more of an individual
That's another
conversation. But,
episode. Yeah.
So
we just look at your whole financial picture. What is good for you, right?
Right.
If you either want to move, don't want to move, but you need to tap into some equity, then let's just take a look at that. I mean, like I said, and like you guys talked, it costs nothing.
right, and it's
Even
not
look at
going to be
that.
a hit on their credit score because you're just talking numbers.
No,
with
it's a
them.
soft credit pull. So we're just, taking a look at
Yeah.
what's going
Snapshot
on
of
here.
what you got going on.
Yeah.
So if you're in a position where you've racked up some debt over the last couple of years, but you also have a killer interest rate, it might be worth the conversation to reach out to Rachel and look at those numbers. And she's going to tell it to you straight. Either, yeah, it makes sense, or no, it doesn't make any sense. Stay with what you got.
Right.
Well, then you can do HELOCs now.
Yeah.
Okay. So before they were,
When I was
she would
with
have
the
to
prior,
send you.
right?
Yeah, somewhere
Newsflash,
else.
yes, cross-country mortgage.
Yeah.
Moved after about 10 years. But yeah, we have every
Which-
product under the sun.
Cross country is
that we do
amazing.
here.
I'm like, hey man, I want to live in downtown Seattle in this box, in this alley. They're like,
We'll
"Dude,
finance it. We'll figure out a way.
we'll finance that.
We'll get
bro."
you a sugar daddy.
Yeah, we got you, man. So yeah, I love how many programs they have. It's great. So, and that was your last company, which did a lot of good things and was great and all that kind of stuff. But my biggest thing with that was just like, half the people I sent to, you're like, sorry, their credit's too good for us. We can't.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it was.
Well, that's Fannie and Freddie who
yeah.
talks about if you have really
So-
good credit and you're doing well. But
But
that's
anyways,
okay.
Now it's great stuff. Love the
It is
programs.
good.
So
Super good, especially with how things are going.
okay.
It's good. Okay, so what's next on our docket here? Appraisals.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to a class yesterday about appraisals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm honest, that class was sold to me as going to talk a lot about AI and appraisals.
It
And
was
all-
a lot more about just the
And all he
appraisal
really did
process.
was say, and then we review it with AI. Anyways, lunch is here. And I was like, dude, you
What'd you
guys
have for lunch?
suckered me into this. I had what was that?
It was like a turkey club.
It's like a sweet mustard chicken sandwich.
From where?
I thought they club.
A chicken club. Yeah.
Yeah,
From some like deli in Seattle.
it was good.
Okay.
Pay
Yeah.
attention. It was
Okay.
good.
Yeah. I mean, it was similar to like,
Better than a McDonald's hamburger?
no, yeah, better than McDonald's.
He almost said no.
And then-
Oh, I gotta correct that real quick.
And then they had brekkie too, so they had like some like blueberry bread.
Wait,
muffin
breakfast
bread.
and lunch?
I
A
know.
little bougie, aren't we?
I know, yeah. I texted Rory partway through, and I'm like, I got to be better, dude. I'm just over here looking very unapproachable in the corner. Like, here's the thing.
Did he tell you what I texted back?
No, what?
You're probably looking at stupid ESPN videos
I
or
showed
dumb
you.
people
100%.
getting in an accident.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I brought you today, Lou.
Oh.
Thank you for coming to
I say that every
Yeah.
Thursday.
It's just like my schmoozing days are just behind me, and that's
my
what
life. Unless
these
we're on a
are.
basketball court.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
different.
I can't get that guy to leave the gym.
Yeah, that's my church.
Oh,
All right,
boy,
anyways.
this guy.
Okay,
But
anyway.
listen, the class
All
was
right.
interesting.
Sorry, I took the train off the tracks.
the class was interesting. They did talk a little bit about the directions going with like some AI appraisals as far as having people go out, take pictures in some dimensions, and then using AI. What else did we find out in that class this year? Well, you were paying a lot more attention than I was. So.
Okay, so basically what is supposed to be helping is it might reduce our cost, right? If we involve AI, which I don't know why it's taking this long either, right? How many appraisals do we have? And they can just enter in all of that data. So Fannie and Freddie and some appraisal mortgage companies are saying, management companies, and we're like, okay, why don't we put all that in together, let that be accessible to everybody. And what is it? Pocket Appraisal is who are in Kairos management system is who are.
So Kairos, here's the pin.
Yeah.
They actually do a great job, and they started this thing that I found. This is my biggest takeaway yesterday. Pocketappraisal.com, and I was going to show you a little bit about this today. So the funniest part of yesterday, right? Like Sex Panther, 60% of the time it works every time, right? So I didn't realize what Zillow's like promise is that 40% of the time we're within 5%. I was like,
no, not 5%. They're within 20.
No,
like,
it's 40% of the time they're within 5%. 80% of the time they're within 20%.
Yeah.
Which means if your house is $1 million, they could be somewhere between 800 and 1.2, and they call it good enough. Like,
oh my word!
So, and it's the same with all of them, right? Same with all of them. Now they're getting better. I loved when he said that 40% of the time we're within 5%. All I could think of was Paul Rudd, and this is my best cologne, Sex Panther. So they at Kairos, and they put together this thing. It's called Pocket Appraisal, and they got a guy at Kairos, Jerry Aller. He's been in the game.
30 plus years.
I think he's the original appraiser. When we first went to like Ford Foundation, and so he's a great guy. And they put this thing together, Pocket Appraisal. It's so much better than utilizing Zillow, Redfin, Realtor. Not to say that those don't have their value in the marketplace, but what you can do with this, and if you're bored, check it out, pocketappraisal.com. You want to get an idea on your house. You know your house better than anybody.
Yep.
And so instead of just putting your address into Zillow and it telling you what they think it's worth, which it's not taking real specific data. Pocketappraisal.com, what it does is you put your address in, and it's taking only sold properties in the radius that you're looking, and you pick the sold properties that matches your house. So you can look at the sold property and the pictures and be like, oh yeah, the layout's like mine, the floor plan's similar, the updates are similar, it has shag carpet, so do I, like whatever you want to do with it. So then you can pick 3 or 4, and now you're getting a much more accurate picture of what your house is.
Right, because Zillow can't do that, right? They're just going to give you that area or that meaning that goes in there.
Zillow might pull the house next door that's twice the size.
Correct.
And it's got all stainless everything, and your house might be, a 70s vibe that's a Rambler and whatever, and that's just not working. So
I gotta pay for this?
No, there's a free way to do it. So
all right.
We'll put some directions out there. But anyway, highly recommend you check it out. Hit Rachel up or something if you want to, any more questions on it. But you get to pick the houses, which means you can get a really clear. You just got to be honest with yourself. Like, don't try to compare your house to your neighbors down the road that have an 8-car garage. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest with yourself. Look at the pictures and be like, yeah, this one matches up. This one matches up, and then you're getting a really accurate snapshot. So I really like the tool.
All right, so you think you guys would use it?
Oh, absolutely.
And your CMAs and
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it would a lot of value.
I think it would be a better conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
And like with you and your clients and.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you this. I mean, just from our personal experience, we know that a lot of consumers look at Zillow when they're thinking about selling their house. And so that's something that we have to do as well, is we'll look at Zillow, and then we have the conversation of here's the range. And typically Zillow is on the high end of that range because Zillow is always way off. And
remember that Zillow went down the road of having their own agents, and they want you to use their agents. So of course they're going to make you think that your house is worth.
Well, I can tell you this much: we've been burned by Zillow in the past 6 months a couple of times because of that. Where we've gone into a listing presentation, we've shown what the market is really doing, but then we've had clients who say, "Well, is it possible that we could do it at this price because this is what we're seeing on Zillow?" And then come to find out we have to do price reductions because Zillow
and you miss your chance.
Bunch of lying sons of
Don't say you really feel, dude.
be over.
So
Can I just say, totally off the tangent here for a second.
we're off record.
We're off record here for a second. We are watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 last night. We've seen it before. Bella comes out. She's sitting there. She's watching with me and Ryan. And all of a sudden, it's the one scene where Chris Pratt gets into the car and he's telling Nebula how to get into the car. And he's like, push the button. And she finally pushes the button.
Push and pull.
She looks at Chris Pratt. She goes, what do I do now? And he goes, get in the car.
Yeah.
And Bella goes, oh, is that the one F-bomb they're allowed to use? And I'm like, how do you know that?
Because she's watched our show.
So we haven't used our F-bomb yet. We still have it in reserve.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Okay.
Sorry. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from.
I know.
But, yeah.
I thought he was going to some relation to
No,
Guardians of the
F-bomb.
So it's kind of like appraisals.
Yeah, appraisals are effing irritating at times.
There we go.
There we go.
F-bomb.
There we go.
But necessary. So trying to think of what else came out of that appraisal thing yesterday.
Well,
It was
the only
really
other part
valuable.
was more on my side of actually it can be a reduction in price to people, right? If we're using AI, if your home qualifies, there's more opportunity now for me to run that through AI and through these programs where maybe it's only a $350 cost, right? Because there's enough information about your property and where that area in the property where it's located that we may not have to do a full appraisal. So that's super helpful, and that's how that's supposed to be.
Well, especially in Washington, I remember him saying yesterday the average appraisal cost countrywide is
$650.
$650.
That's not in this state.
We're
That's
$1,000
$850 to
Right. Yeah.
$9,000
Appraisals are
here.
expensive.
Who was surprised that it's more expensive for something in Washington? So rain is more expensive here, and we have it in abundance. Like it's just everything is more expensive. So if if Rachel can have her cost at $350 because they're utilizing the AI product,
And it's not just us; it's whether it's approved by Fannie or Freddie. You have to run through an automated underwriting system, but a lot more properties are able to use that now. So just helpful with costs. Hopefully, we can do that. So I see it. I mean,
and
super helpful.
We talked a little bit yesterday about the appraisal system in general, how we can't talk to anybody, and it's just this. There's no appraisals aren't held to any kind of like standard or repercussions if they are just dicking around. So having the AI,
all of us, right? I'm highly regulated. You're regulated a little.
So having an AI where you can just
appraisals are nothing.
Skip them, essentially, or you're using a guy like Jerry who's kind of reviewing. Is in my mind, bring it on. So, but that brings me.
And
to
that's the most important to think about if you're thinking about selling your house is unless you're going to get a cash buyer, the house has to appraise for what you're selling it for, or the buyer has to bring extra money. So keep that in mind whenever you're sitting down with an agent and they're going through what the market's doing. Agents are typically thinking of like how an appraiser is thinking. How is an appraiser going to appraise this house? And so if we put a house on the market for $700,000, but the comps in the area, the sold comps in the area only say $650, that's what an appraiser is going to do. He or she are going to be looking at those comps in the area and not just the pie in the sky. Oh, someone offered me $700, so they have to pay me $700. At the end of the day, the bank or the mortgage company, they're only going to lend what it appraises for. So I mean, you can buy a house for $700,000, but if the mortgage company is only going to give you $650, you got to figure out where that other $50,000 is coming from. So keep that in mind. The house has to appraise for whatever the buyer is going to buy it for, and we can fight it. We fought it before. We had one appraisal about 5 years ago that came in $80,000 under the purchase price, which we knew was ridiculous. And we went and we fought it. And we showed comps and we showed an error that was made in the appraisal. And we won. I mean, what they brought it down by $5,000.
It was. I think the agreed upon price was like $497.50 or $497,500. Sorry, and it comped at like $417. And we were like, what the? And so we fought it and ended up getting it at $492.5 or something like that. And I was like, okay, everyone can live with that. So there was like a $22,500 error in the math.
Which they talked about that yesterday, that sometimes there's those, you just got to review them. So that's the other part, is make sure you're working with an agent and lender that's reviewing your appraisals and knows how to do a reconsideration of value, sending all that stuff in. So
that is the least fun. by the way.
We're gonna
Reconsideration.
bore them half to death here.
All right.
Stop that. Let's-
We're good. Hey, bottom line, just because the rates are where they're at, you should, if you are thinking about refinancing, talk to Rach.
Well,
At least
I don't
have
know
her.
if- just even if you're gonna change or something. I mean, I don't know if we're in refi all the way times yet, unless it makes sense.
But they can
So,
do HELOCs and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. So talk to
All
her,
kinds
have her
of
at least
things.
looking at your picture. It
Don't
doesn't
get
cost
stuck,
you.
right? Trying to shoot a golf ball like with 50 other people
Yeah,
trying
right.
to get a house.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Doesn't
it's gonna
cost you
get
anything. It's not going to
tough.
hurt your credit. So give it a run. All right. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, appreciate
Cheers,
it.
everyone.
We'll have her back on in February?
Yeah.
Have you back in February. We'll do another
Yeah,
snapshot.
talking
see
about
what's
some
going on.
all kinds of non-QM and every other crazy loan that we can do. We'll
Oh
just
yeah,
do
that's a good idea. We can go do an overview. So
of some of that stuff that we're doing.
we'll just have like a scrolling screen
Of everything
our
that-
ticker while she's talking. So
You'd be surprised. It's pretty good. So, okay, have a lovely afternoon.
All right,
Morning,
and
gentlemen.
while we're making the
Everyone out there.
transition, we will give you guys some funny, stupid memes to look at because that's much better than listening to chairs climb all
Yeah,
over the
and me
place.
climbing out over here.
we'll be right back after this commercial break.
There you go.
Have a great week.
Yeah. Can you give me a screwdriver, please? Yeah. That's the wrong one.
Sorry.
We're here live in Salinas, California at the Street Low Car Magazine show. Thank you, sir. I needed that.
Let's unmute the mic again. Look, it looks just like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it. You got a little Dave Grohl to you there. Little Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I mean, your hair's up, that hair's down. Anyways,
That's all right.
all right.
That was my emo face.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Let's do it live.
Jason Kelsey, if anybody doesn't understand that. Jason, I'm not taking off the shirt. Ladies, calm down.
Bro.
Shirt's staying on. What are you laughing at over
We
there?
might get flagged.
Yeah, she may have left the show, but she's still on the other side
Being
there.
snarky.
She's gonna give us dirty looks the entire show, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be well earned.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So-
all right, welcome back.
Oh, how the frick are you?
All right, man.
Yeah.
I had a 3-hour clock hour class yesterday.
Low energy Weaver to the
Still
show.
recovering from that class.
Holy. Well, you know,
The good news is, I think Rachel's done inviting me to these things. Mission accomplished.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I'm not
I
gonna-
try to be, but I told you yesterday. I told her, guys, we go to these classes. We need clock hours, right? And Rachel's company does these great series, and they're informative and all that kind of stuff. I say they're more informative probably for newer agents and that kind of thing. But for me, like it's just a bougie smooge fest, and it's like, and honestly, like 90% of the room is women, and they're just like on break complimenting each other on their shoes and like their pea coat, and I'm just, except for my wife, who's having my wife who's having very intelligent conversations.
You know what? At this point, you are a sexist pig. All
Well,
right.
am I wrong? Like, it's not about being sexist. That is
So-
what they were doing.
Send all of your hate mail to lukeweaver.com.
That is what they were doing. I heard it. It would be sexist if I'm not speaking the truth. But that is what's going on.
Oh my gosh! You know,
So,
gotta
anywho.
use your inside voice.
No,
your
gosh,
inner
no.
keep your inner monologue turned
And
on.
then, of course, there's always like two people that want to ask a question about everything. I'm like, dude, we could have wrapped this up in a half hour.
Okay, so now I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I've been to different meetings, not just this kind, but I've been to parent meetings. I've been to webinars. I've been all these things, and there's always that one person that's always asking questions that have already been answered.
Yeah.
And you're just like, guess what? We could leave if you would just shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
Or ask the question after the class.
That's
Because
the
everybody
thing.
else got it.
That's the thing. Yeah. There was
All
one specific gal who was just like asking questions and swearing in the back. And I was like, can somebody drag this one out? Like,
Oh, by the way, Rachel, Pam says goodbye. Bye.
And she
Commercials.
said,
You
"We're
guys
fancy."
are getting fancy. That's
Absolutely.
true. I mean, commercials. We ain't getting paid jack for it, but
To be
you
fair,
know, we got commercials.
Rory's getting fancy. I'm just showing up. So
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of,
Well, bro, so I guess we're gonna get a tiny little.
you guys want to hear something funny first?
Okay.
So people have been reaching out to us about the peanut butter food drive. People want to get involved. People like Pam that we're going to
Are
meet
you
up
really
with.
gonna share this?
It's just funny.
Oh man.
People like Pam, okay, and so we're going to get a bunch of these companies involved. We're really excited. People are coming together. I've had multiple people reaching out, like, how can they help? We're going to make this like awesome. I mean, we did 2,000 pounds last time. I'm talking like we're going to double that at least. So, but all that to say, we were trying to figure out when we want to do this, and so I go, hey, there's got to be a National Peanut Butter Day, right? If anybody wants to look this up. So this morning on the way here, I'm like, let's look up when the National Peanut Butter Day is. Maybe it's in April or May, and then, you know, we'll do it then, and we'll kind of have a celebration day. The National Peanut Butter Day in our country was yesterday. Literally, it was yesterday. It's January.
Nailed it.
January 24th. So we missed that boat. So we're gonna have our own National Peanut Butter Day. So
National Peanut Butter Day. We did it, boys.
yeah. So anyways, we're coming after you guys. We're coming after all of our.
I'm guessing next year it's going to be in January.
Yeah. We'll have like a kickoff party on National Peanut Butter Day, and then it'll go through February or something. I don't know. So,
wow, we did great.
Good morning, Chris.
We nailed that.
Yeah.
Idiots.
He's always behind.
Oh my god.
So,
I need to be removed.
all right. Let's carry on. What are we talking about?
So I'm a little heartbroken.
It's going to get controversial.
Not too controversial.
No, it is. I promise.
Nah, it's not going to get that controversial at all.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Well, you can say what you want to say because you always do. Sports Illustrated. I know there's a lot of dudes and some ladies out there that grew up with Sports Illustrated, and seeing who was on the cover, Sports Illustrated might be dead.
You know what's crazy is I when I was a kid, I collected these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I had like these magazine sleeves, and I had some of them on the wall of like my favorite athletes, and I'd change them out, and I had stacks. It's a SI, and then, you know, of course, the swimsuit edition for every hot-blooded American teenager was just like, I mean, everything, right? You were just waiting for. I remember that like the Tyra Banks one was like a huge deal, like that, you know, that cover or whatever. And the SI swimsuit edition started out as like kind of a small thing and like a supplement thing, like a long time ago, and then it just became. I mean, it took on a life of its own, to where, I mean, you couldn't go anywhere. Like there were stands of it everywhere. Every February, it came out in February. And so, and now we're facing these uncertain times of life after SI.
Right. And the thing is that when the news first broke, it was very confusing.
Yes.
I was trying to understand what the hell is going on. And so I'll try to break this down as best I can.
Yeah.
The thing is that...
Yeah, that's right, Pam.
The publisher... So I just wrote some notes here. The publisher of the SI brand... So the publisher couldn't make their $4 million monthly payment to the owner of the brand, Sports Illustrated. So a company owned the brand, but licensed it to a publisher to publish the magazines. And I guess this all happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
This publisher bought them. And this might be we're talking a little bit of controversy, and then we'll get into nostalgia. So the controversial part of this is that this publisher has decided to go all in on everything DEI and woke and all that stuff. And there's a couple of things here, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So first off, in 2021, they had the first trans woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Just singer.
In 2022, they had a heavy woman in a bathing suit on the cover of the swimsuit edition.
Yeah.
In 2023, they had another trans woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So,
2023 is the singer. Yeah.
So, think about this for a second. Nothing screams magazine sales
like alienating half the country.
Right. Like your core group of people that you were doing this for, you have alienated.
Who was the swimsuit edition for?
Dudes.
Yeah, I mean it's like
majority.
It was
majority.
It was there top selling publication every year, right? Top selling issue every year.
And here's the thing.
I knew friends that had 4 copies.
And I know that there's some people out there that don't like the swimsuit edition. They don't like how it objectifies women, is their perception. I know there are people that don't like that. I get that, I understand. But just stay with us for a moment here. In this world where the swimsuit edition was everything for such a long time, you now come in and you put men.
Let's just be honest. You put covers on there that essentially alienated most of your audience for that issue. And look, I'm trying to refrain myself from
I know.
go woke, go broke.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: regardless of like political stance and all that kind of stuff, like it's just who's hiring these marketing people? Like, it's if you want to. Dude, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like that the swimsuit edition is one of the best-selling issues of any magazine every year in the world. Even as we have moved into a digital age, when that came out in stores, people are picking it up, right? Like that's one people wanted to get their hands on and like actually have a hard copy of. Yeah. And
sorry, I'm trying to keep it
PG. But afternoon, morning, Drew.
Here's the thing, man. I'm for equality, and if that means that, well, why don't we have dudes in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition?
Yeah.
And I'll pop up some of these comments here in a second. Why don't we have dudes in there as well as having women? And this is going to sound weird. I'm for that. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
What I think is beautiful, and I know everybody's got a different version of beautiful, but
I think you're beautiful.
But no, I'm not. But the athletic woman and the athletic man are beautiful. There is a beauty to that, and it's Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
That's the angle, is sports. So why would you do all these other things? I think if I remember correctly, didn't they do an issue where they had both men and women athletes that they did photo shoots for?
They do the body issue.
Right. I love those because it's like, okay, I'd love to look like that dude, but I'm never going to get there. But man, that would be cool if I look like that dude. And you look at the...
Well, there was something about, when they would have like Michael Phelps on there and being like, man, look at this guy, like how hard he works. Or like the difference in like Marshawn Lynch's body, like when Marshawn did it, and you're like, look at how this guy is just built. Either way. See, real quick, let's get to some comments. Chris Hall says, it's crazy how many companies are owned by the corporation that actually owns the brand of SI. This whole story was completely new to me. Yeah, it same to us. Once again, reinforced the idea that these mega corporations own everything. My man Paul here says, Rory in a thong. Woke up.
Wait, whoa. Let me get to that one.
Paul says, I don't think you understand that the people making these decisions believe they are right and that everyone else agrees with them. Everyone else is the far right and they are the minority. Yeah, it's I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point, Paul. And I think that's part of the problem with anything going on in our country right now is the far right, the far left, these agree. Example, Target. Yeah. Target's another great example. Bud Light's whole woke campaign. Like the whole point of marketing historically has been to the masses, right? How do we attract the masses?
Yes.
How do we get the biggest chunk of these demographics? Lately, we've seen a lot of these companies making decisions that's based on an extreme minority.
Right.
And the problem is that media screams so loud, right? That even the extreme minority tends to seem much bigger than it is because it's in our face all the time.
Yeah.
And now look, we've seen, as we're talking about here, several of these companies struggle heavily, right? Now, and it's also brought on the rise of these other companies that are swooping in and being like, oh, I see, here's my chance to get in,
right?
I mean, the Bud Light controversy sparked 2 or 3 new beers that were like beer companies that were marketed as like the conservative beer. And now here we are. They would have had that window if it wasn't for.
Right. But then to your point, they need to be careful because if you're just if you're just going towards conservative with your beer, well, then you're going to alienate another market as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like with Bud Light, before they had their controversy last year,
Yeah.
Bud Light was for everybody to drink.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. You didn't care if you're black, white, a man, a woman, a trans. Nobody cared. Drink the beer.
And I think the big thing here is and maybe Target's learning is, you don't have to market to one specific group. You know what I'm saying? Like that Target controversy, everything was so in your face, right? Forgetting that half the country has a conservative viewpoint. There are highly religious people in our country that don't want to see what you have right up front. It's not to say don't carry it. It's not to say that don't appeal to that demographic, But you have to think about things as a whole. When I went into Target the day before Christmas this year, I was dreading it. I had to pick up one thing. I was like, sons of bees. Like, this is going to take 8 hours. Like, it's going to be chaos. I drove by Fred Meyer and Walmart on the way there. And I mean, I thought they were having a Black Friday. I mean, it was insane. It was, people fighting in the parking lot. And I'm like, great. I'm going to get to Target and it's going to be a zoo. I go in there. It was quiet.
Yeah. And
I brought it up to one of the people working. I was like, man, it seems really quiet. And he goes, been like this since June.
Ooh.
And I was like, ooh, wow. And we kind of chatted for a minute. And I mean, just him saying that to me was like, he's like, yeah, we've had layoffs or whatever. And that's sad because now someone who's in charge of your marketing make a decision to focus on one specific minority of people is affecting the lives of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? And it's, again, I'm not to say don't carry the stuff, not, whatever, but like how you present the forward face of your operation, SI now, has a huge effect, right?
Yep.
And we're starting to see the fall of a lot of stalwarts in our country because they're trying to appeal to these things. What does Matt say? Minorities tend to have the complex that goes with being the minority and feeling unheard, so they start yelling the loudest, often even after they were fully heard, and the majority still decided not to join them there. Yeah, and a point that Matt makes as well, that, and maybe this is a symptom of part of our country, is that maybe some of these minority groups feel that they have to yell in order to be heard because other people are not listening when they're speaking quietly or politely. And so maybe we need to do a better job.
Choo-choo, mother.
Yeah. And so
Still saved it.
Maybe part of it is we need to do a better job of listening.
Right.
Sometimes.
I don't disagree with that.
Fair enough. And that's fair enough. I feel like I'm talking a lot more and you need to jump in here.
Well, and something else to think about, get away from this conversation in particular, is that some of their staff got caught using AI to write articles. So they didn't even have real people writing articles.
Which is plagiarism to me.
Right.
You may not be plagiarizing a person, so to speak, or stealing someone's work, but using AI to write articles for a major publication to me is a form of plagiarism.
I think it's a slap in the face to the people that the publisher just laid off.
Well, and it's a slap in the face to people like Peter King for
Right.
SI, who writes incredible, very well researched and detailed articles, that I enjoy reading. And you're just gonna drink your coffee, have AI write something for you. Like, that's not journalism.
No. That's, you missed the old school. I saw something yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's from, the funny thing is, it's from someone who is controversial in the Twitter sphere. They work for the Washington Post. Are you gonna do it, dude? I'd slap you if I was
She
her.
wouldn't mind, Rach.
Oh, boy.
If you wouldn't mind at some point.
Slap him.
At some point, if you wouldn't mind. They refill me for free, but I can't get up and go do it.
If I were you, I'd take that cup into the bathroom and fill it up.
Being nice, I didn't say, "Hey, beer wench, get me more." I'm literally asking, would you mind getting me some coffee?
I don't smack
That's why I got this ring mark right here. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
So there's a very controversial journalist for the Washington Post. I don't know if she's still with them or not.
I don't know if she's still with them.
But she had made a comment on Twitter the other day about how real journalism is dying because of these big corporations, which I find kind of interesting because this person is very controversial in how they do things. But the point is that real journalism is not dead.
No.
Real journalism is the old school, independent. I'm going to go work the lead, or I'm going to try and get the information. And the thing is that as a society, myself included, we've become lazy. We've become lazier.
Yeah.
And some of these people, like this lady for the Washington Post, I'm not going to say her name, but
Good morning, Chris Cluster.
If you want to Google it, you'll figure it out. They want things to be easy. Yeah. And journalism has never been a glamorous job where you can read about the old journalists and how they had to work hard to make ends meet.
Well,
nowadays, journalists, they want to be put up there with the elite, with the high echelon, because I'm rubbing elbows with Hillary Clinton, or I'm rubbing elbows with Donald Trump, or whoever it is. And it's like, no, stop it. You need to be reporting the news, reporting stories that you find out, not writing AI articles.
Yeah, and it's I look at like my daughter, Maddie's co-editor-in-chief of high school newspaper, and I see these kids. They work really hard, to put out good researched articles, and I mean they stay after school and do layout, and they chase down leads, they chase down these interviews. And I heard Maddie say yesterday to somebody, like, on one hand, I feel like it's a dying trade. She's like, but I love it, and I think it's worth pursuing. And I 100% agree. Like, I 100% think it's worth pursuing. Yeah. Oh,
thank you so much.
Tina, owner of Electra Coffee House, being the sweetest.
You guys need to come down here. This place is hopping.
Yeah. So anyway, it's worth pursuing. Real quick, Drew says, circling back to going into a store on Christmas Eve, do you feel like Arnold in Commando when he's gearing up to take on everything on that island? I'm going to tell you what, I don't always carry, if you know what I mean, when I go out. I definitely carried on Christmas Eve because I thought of any day, this is going to be the day. But turns out no one's going to Target, so I was good. So I was in and out.
All right, let's transition
out
of this.
Real quick, and I want to point this out.
Okay.
And this isn't the political aspect of it, or sorry, it's not this specific aspect, but I really miss the time when the publications that I liked, I liked them because of what their content was supposed to be, what they're marketed as. Example, when Sports Illustrated was about sports.
Yeah.
When Rolling Stone was about the music.
Oh gosh,
I used to love Rolling Stone because I could open it up and I could be like, oh my gosh, this guy went on the road with the Black Crowes for a month, and I really want to get, like, what are they like? What was it like? Rory and I, we love music, and we're always bouncing things back and forth. And like, it's not just the music, right? It's the life and the processes they go through. And I used to love that. And they always had an article in the very back that was like one page that was really worth reading. And it just progressively, over the years, it became more and more about politics. And to the point where it was like 80% politics and 20% music. And I'm like, change the title. It's not Rolling Stone anymore.
Right.
Like, it's a lie. It's a farce. This isn't.
And that's the thing is when we were younger, that meant something. Like if you saw the 91 Huskies on the cover of Sports Illustrated, you're picking that up because that's my team.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Or when Ken Griffey Jr., my favorite issue, only because it's got Ken Griffey Jr. on the front, is back in, I believe, 1994, and it says The Natural.
The Natural, yeah.
And it's like,
a take on the movie.
That's my dude.
Yeah.
That's my dude right there. I want that. Yeah. I want that magazine. And so with like Rolling Stone, when you see Nirvana on the cover,
you're
like, oh my gosh, they're talking about grunge in the Pacific. That's us. They're talking about us. There was ownership. There was pride. There was something that you just loved about it. I mean, I would love to look at the back of the Rolling Stone and see what are the music charts. Because back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't know what was going on. But to see what were the
where's
hot
my favorite
songs
song at? Yeah.
And now, it's to the point where I'll walk by Sports Illustrated. I don't even glance at Rolling Stone. It's gotten to the point where they've lost the mark. They've lost the plot. Is what I'm thinking here. Is they don't do sports.
What is wrong? Yeah, and it's like, what is wrong with these magazines, Sports Illustrated, Rolling Stone, any of them, with just being what you were meant to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just being about the athletes and the sports just being about the music, just being about the movies or whatever it is. Like,
and I mean, there are going to be causes.
Yeah.
Athletes do have things that
human interest pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this person, they do this or this person does that. I mean, there's going to be part of it, but you're sharing their story. You're not going off at a certain agenda.
That's why I stick to field and stream. All right. Now, we talk about fields and we talk about streams. It's just, I mean, honestly, some of the only magazines still stick to what they are. Is it like Outside Magazine, the outdoor publications or the hunting publications.
And it's the same crap every year, every decade. It's fishing.
Yeah.
And it's hunting.
That is why I picked it up.
But and that's the funny thing. It's the same crap, but you're still picking it up.
Yeah, you don't even need to have a catchy title. Just tell me on the front: fishing, hunting, outdoor crap. Perfect. This is my jam. Like, it's like, I just want to. What does Paul say? Articles written by talented writers, not pundits. Thank you. I disagree with you that a magazine should only have articles that are relevant to the cover. I read a great article about Obama and Rolling Stone. He was an outline candidate. Playboy had many great articles having nothing to do with the TNA. That's the only reason I picked up Playboy was for the articles.
Right. Let me ask you this, Paul. Why should an article about Obama be in Rolling Stone? Now, if there's a musical spin on it, that makes sense to me. But to just put it in there and there's no musical connection whatsoever, I would disagree with you on that. I'm not saying it's a bad article, but I'm saying it might not be for Rolling Stone. Maybe it should be some other entity.
The problem is that Rolling Stone started out doing these one-offs, or like there would be one human interest piece like that in each, but then it just started to permeate the entire publication all the time to the point where I stopped. I used to be a subscriber. I got away from it.
Well, I'll give you a great example. When Bill Clinton played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, that's an article to write about. That's a reason to grab Bill Clinton and do a piece about Bill Clinton because there's a musical angle to it.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be, Paul. Paul says, why shouldn't it?
Right.
But what I will tell you is proof's in the pudding. Over the last 10 years, as they've become more and more political and more about that, their sales have dipped dramatically to the point now I don't think that they had to shrink their size because they couldn't afford to put out their larger size magazine anymore. And now there's talks that they're going full digital, if even that. They're not making the money. Like, people started picking up Rolling Stone originally because of counterculture and the music that it was.
Right.
And as they became more and more political, you say, why shouldn't it? I get it, an article here and there, but as it transformed from Rolling Stone about the music and the entertainment industry and became more about what was going on in the country, the temperament, and politics, their sales dip. So I think your answer to why shouldn't it, that's the answer.
Right. If you just want to look at it from that point of view.
There are times in my life I just want a break from everything I see on the media. I just want to say, all I want to do is read about music for a while. All I want to do is listen to music. All I want to do is read about these movies. All I want to do is read about sports or outdoors. Like, don't sneak in other stuff. Like, I picked this up. I will tell you what I want to read. Like,
and the thing is, I don't even mind if they sneak it in, but don't make it the majority of the magazine.
Yes. I guess that's the point.
Yeah, and like Paul says, certainly music should be their emphasis. And, and that's the thing is make it like if you got an interesting story about Obama and music, like maybe he tried to do this or he tried to do that or something along those lines, I'm cool with that. But I mean, think about it. They never did an article on, and I could be wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong. But they didn't do an article on Bush, a one-on-one with Bush. They didn't do a one-on-one with Reagan. They didn't do a one-on-one with Nixon.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I could be wrong, but that's the point is when Rolling Stone came out, Rolling Stone was counterculture.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do an article, a sit-down with LBJ that I know of.
Yeah.
Again, I'm prefacing this, I don't know. But I'm assuming they wouldn't do one with LBJ. They wouldn't do one with Nixon. They wouldn't do one with Carter or Ford or anything like that.
Klussman says, they know what you want to read. Klussman did a great video yesterday, by the way. Every now and again, I'm not saying that was going to come out wrong. I'll say every now and again, Klussman has something thoughtful. Klussman has things thoughtful every day. Every now and again, he decides to put it out to the masses. And yesterday, he had a really good one. So good job, Chris. If you guys are friends with Chris, go check out his video from yesterday.
Why am I not, Chris? Why are we not friends on Facebook?
I know.
Do you not like me? Do you hate the fact that I moved back to Mason County? Do you hate the fact that I have a awesome beard? What's the deal, Chris? Do we have to have a beard fight?
Yeah.
You need to friend me. I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken from bulldog to bulldog. I'm crushed. You need to friend me.
Chris was a lot younger than you, though. You guys might just not have known each other.
No, I don't think we did.
Paul says, shut up and sing. I walked out of a Bruce Springsteen concert because he got too political. That's the thing, man. Like, I think that, like, what a lot of these entertainers, writers, publications, mass media forget is that we, as people, left, right, upside down, wherever, we just need a break sometimes.
Right.
We just want to unplug from all of it being shoved down our throat all the time and just like unwind, right, and get out of our head some of that stuff, and they intentionally, in my mind, use those opportunities to shove even more stuff down. So,
yep,
yeah, we're gonna start a magazine. It's just
oh crap,
yeah,
like we don't have enough on our plate already.
It's gonna be called Music-ish. That's it. So
I'm sure that's trademark.
It's real big across the top, Music-ish, and then underneath the smaller print, and nothing else. Like very straight to the point. All right. Anyways. Moving on.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, there's something I wanted to
Cheers
share.
for SI.
And the thing is that I was listening to Sirius XM a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It was I was getting out of the Christmas music phase, which I listen to Christmas music a lot longer than everybody else.
By the way, yeah. You know what I hate? I hate how warm, like Warm More than 6.9. You know, they play music starting in like September, but they just shut it off at midnight on Christmas.
Oh, I know.
Day. It drives me like I'm like. The weather outside is, and then all of a sudden it's Celine Dion or something
right.
like that.
Well, with Sirius XM has like 5 or 6 different Christmas channels, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But come December 27th, gone.
So
and then the only way I can listen to it is online. So
it's like alcoholism for me. Let me like I'll taper it back to 6 beers tomorrow and maybe 5 next week. Like kind of wean me out of it. Like I'm not a cold turkey quitting Christmas music.
So I'm in the car, and one of the channels that was Christmas music, I went to go click on it, and obviously it wasn't Christmas music anymore, and it was the Billy Joel station. Now, I'm a big fan of Billy Joel. I like Billy Joel. My wife hates Billy Joel. She does not like him at all. One of the few things that my mother-in-law...
That's un-American.
One of the few things my mother-in-law and I agree with is we both like Billy Joel.
That's the only thing.
The thing is, so here was the cool thing. Billy Joel station, landed on it by accident. And what they've done on that station is they basically sat down with Billy Joel.
With Bill.
And they had him go through one of his albums. I believe it was The Stranger. They had him go through The Stranger, and they had him talk about every single song. How he got the idea, where it came from, what was the melody, what was he thinking in his head, all this kind of stuff. So they did this entire interview, and then what they do is they chop it up into sections.
Yeah.
So you'll hear a little section about how did he come up with the idea for The Stranger. So he's talking about it, and then he's playing the piano.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then he's playing the piano, and he's describing how, I was thinking,
yeah.
And then they play The Stranger.
I love that.
And then he'll also talk about other influential musicians. Like he'll talk about Ray Charles, how he loves Ray Charles and how he, it was great to play piano with. And then they'll do the song Baby Grand. They'll play the song with Ray Charles. And so I love that. I could drive to wherever and not get there.
Should have some more texture to the whole thing, some more depth. Yeah.
It's awesome to understand where their thought process is. Like one of the things he talked about was he said he no longer writes songs, but he's continually writing music. He's writing music so much, but he's really cut back to almost not writing any songs whatsoever. And so the whole point of that was SI can learn a thing. Like there's, if you could do stuff like that, you might get me to subscribe, to learn more. Because we talk about the Foo Fighters documentary that came out a few years ago. Actually, it's probably 8 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And same thing. They're talking about how Dave Grohl and the band came up with the ideas for each album along the way.
Yeah.
And it's just that's what people who love music, people who love stories, that's what they want to hear.
I just recently I think it was in the summer, but we were on a flight and I had the girls, we were heading for a tournament. And Lainey and I's kind of song together has always been Wildflower by Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, hey, Dad, did you see what's on the in-flight entertainment? And I looked, and it was the documentary, Tom Petty Wildflower album.
Oh!
And it was like an hour and a half of just the making of that album. Like everything that went into it. Obviously we lost Tom, unfortunately. Brilliant musician. But the band talking about just being around him, like what he was doing, what he was trying to come up with, and why it was a break from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers to just a Tom Petty album, and not because he doesn't love the Heartbreakers, but it was just what he was trying to do, and have some. Highly recommend it. It was really interesting. That kind of stuff's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Like, where do they come? Like one of my favorite Tom Petty songs, one of my all-time favorite songs, period, is Wildflowers, and he talked about that. He wrote that song, sang that song, without writing it down, without writing anything down. He just had this idea in his mind, went into his studio at home,
Okay.
hit record on the tape, and did that in one take.
Wildflower?
Yeah. And then took it in the next day. It's like the producers and all that were like, hey, I did this, whatever. And they played it, and they were like, dude, this is freaking genius. He just kind of came up with the words as he was going. He had the rhythm and the melody. And then they were like, okay, and he's like, we should put this to like more music. It's just him and the guitar. And they were like, no. We'll re-record it and engineer it for better sound and all that. But this is just you and the guitar, just that this is it, and it became obviously one of his most endearing songs. So that kind of stuff is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like when you see that, well, and also just how that kind of mind works, right? Like,
well, and I would recommend to everybody out there, get on YouTube. There's a channel that I follow, and it's called The Professor of Rock.
okay.
And this is what this guy does. He puts out content every single day. He interviews people. Like last week, I watched Professor of Rock talk about the song I Think We're Alone Now.
Okay.
Go ahead, sing it. I know you want to. I know Rachel's over there
the
dancing.
original or the Tiffany version?
Either. Go ahead.
No,
sing it.
Okay. Oh, you want me to
sing it?
I think we're alone.
Now we just got flagged. Thanks,
Yeah.
Luke. So
the beating of a heart is the only sound.
So the awesome thing was he started talking
Should
about
have Rachel sing it.
Started talking about the original artist.
Okay.
Who's the original artist?
Donovan, right?
Nope.
Who is it?
Damn it.
Tommy James and the Shondells.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so he's interviewing him.
Which, by the way, underrated band. Tommy James and the Shondells.
Oh, they got a lot of hits.
Underrated.
I totally forgot how many hits they
Crimson
had.
and Clover. I think we're alone now. Crystal Blue Persuasion. I could go on.
So he's interviewing him, and he's talking about how he came up with the idea and how the song was actually controversial back in the 60s.
Of course.
Because obviously it's got some...
Why would you be alone?
Right,
You
exactly. And then it kind of just disappeared for a while until my girl, my first crush, Tiffany, came out with that.
Tiffany
came out
was
with the
it,
remake,
bro.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! Well, you remember the Tiffany Debbie Gibson wars?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I was all about Tiffany.
And this may speak a lot to who I am as a person, but my crush in that time frame, whatever. And I know she's not like the sex symbol icon, but I was Cyndi Lauper. Like, it was just the whole vibe, dude. Like, she was like this rebel. Bad,
I'm with you, Rachel. Keep on shaking your head.
I know,
I'm
it
with
was
you.
more of a pop music, but she was like this punk rock princess, and I was just like, dude, she's everything. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, the whole point of this episode, and you get a chance to go watch it, is hearing the stories of how he created the song, how it came to be,
Yep.
and then how she took it and she did. You remember the shopping mall tour?
Oh yeah.
She was
That
the
was a
first
big
one to do
thing
that.
back in the
It was
80s.
huge.
Yeah.
It was huge because the original song that they came out with on her album wasn't playing well to radio like they wanted it to.
We're gonna stick you in malls across America.
And that's exactly what they said. They said, "Where's everybody at? They're at the malls."
Isn't some of the video
Yeah.
shot in mall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's the kind of stuff I love. I love
Yeah, sucks you
watching
right
those
in.
kind of things. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
And okay, so I told you I was going to talk about this because we love music.
Yeah.
We love music.
Yes.
And I introduced Bella to Van Halen last weekend.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
And
there's another one over here. Go ahead and jump.
And so I actually started off with Van Hagar.
Oh.
And she's like, "Oh, this sounds good. This sounds good." And then I said,
"Just you wait."
But here's the thing. One of the greatest rock albums of all time, 1984, allowed me to play this song.
Yeah.
Panama. She's like, "Oh, I've heard this song before." I'm like, yeah, this is really good stuff.
Yeah.
So
they could have kept their act together, man. Not let the egos get in the way.
So this is where the audience might laugh at me, and I don't give two
big booties watching
shoots about it. Is I was talking with Weaver the other day about music in the 2000s, and
good morning, Mr. Rohrbach.
There was a little band. Oh, there we go.
Morning, boys.
There was a little band in the late 90s, early 2000s that were all over the place. And then society crapped all over them. And I'm not saying it wasn't deserved because of the antics outside of music, but Creed. See?
With arms wide open.
So I listened to Creed last weekend as I was driving, and I love the sound of Creed. I love the music. Oh, what are you doing here? Are you hitting delete?
No.
And the thing is, you go back and, for me, I go back and I listen to those songs, and it takes me back to a time in my life. Good times, bad times, indifferent times. I can listen to the second, I believe it's the second album. Maybe it's the third album.
You get laughed at by Paul.
That's fine. He can laugh. I don't care. I can listen to that, and it takes me right back to 2000, 2001, things that were going on in the world. Yeah. And then I'm going to take it a step further.
I feel like every decade kind of has that group that does the anthems. Like before that, it was probably what am I? Heaven, let your light shine down. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna.
Who is that? Come on, you guys. Who is that?
Oh, wow! I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Search for this.
Collective Soul.
Collective Soul, yeah. Like Collective Soul was that in the 90s, right? And then it became Creed.
And you know, one of the things against Collective Soul, against Creed, against is it Candlebox? Candlebox was towards the end of grunge, right?
Yeah.
One of the things
out
that
of
people
Australia.
One of the things that people started bashing these bands about was, oh, you sound like Pearl Jam.
Collective Soil. Yep, that's it.
You sound like Pearl Jam, or you sound like Nirvana, or you sound like Chris Cornell.
Soundgarden. Oasis.
Right.
Whatever.
You sound like them. Oh, it's just a ripoff. Who cares?
Everything's a ripoff.
Right. There's nothing original under the sun.
Yeah, no.
And so I'll take it a next step. Get your laughing things ready, whatever you want to say. There was a time when people dug Nickelback, and then we all collectively
decided
on Nickelback.
Decided we didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm going back and I'm playing these songs for the kids, and the kids are like, this sounds good. Now, it's not classic rock. No. It's not up there with the higher echelons. It's not up there with 1984.
Not groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Yeah. But it's good music, good sounding music to have on, to listen to. And so I don't care. Do all your laughing emojis you want. I'm okay with Creed. I'm okay with Nickelback.
Yeah.
Well,
part of what happened to both of them, which is unfortunate too, is just like Nickelback especially, is like.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. Tell me what happened.
I feel like it's just because one of your boys said, "Oh, they're whatever, they're soft or they're whatever." Like then you're like, "Oh yeah, dude, totally." Like it just became like this. Yeah. Example in the '90s, right? In the '90s.
Look at Victor knows Nickelback rocks.
Yes. So in the 90s, people were talking like it was not cool if you were a dude listening to like Backstreet Boys,
right,
or NSYNC, and you're like, dude, I don't listen to that.
Yeah, and you're over there, you're tapping your foot. You're like, dude, Backstreet.
And I don't know how many of my friends like got in their car and they turned it on, all of a sudden you say, everybody, and you're like. And they're like, oh, dude, I don't know how that got there. Yes, you did, because you put it in the CD player. And you know what? Let's be real. So did I. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, Nickelback became, like, that next, I don't know, like, whipping post for whatever reason that your buddy was like, oh,
it was weird.
So you're like, yeah, dude, totally.
It was weird when that would happen.
Yeah.
And then, you go, oh, I'll turn it off. And the buddy goes, no, let it play.
Morning, Casey. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, did we just become best friends, but secretively? Because we don't want anybody else to know.
Yeah, dude. It was.
But there's always those.
You know what's funny is we took Joss and Mav to see the Backstreet Boys at White River last year. Do you know how many dudes I saw there that are buddies of mine that are my age that were just like getting after it, dude? Like Luke Griffin and Nate Flansburgh, like all there getting after
Marnin, Casey.
Yeah, Marnin. So,
oh boy, Crab says, don't get me going on Creed.
Yeah.
Oh, by all means, type away, young man.
Yeah, it's just, that's the thing. It's not that it's bad music. It became like like culturally inappropriate within your friend group
Right.
to listen to him.
And the thing is, I get it with Scott Stapp. He had issues outside of the band,
Bro.
to the point where the band left him
Yeah.
and they did their own thing for a little bit. Which, if you listen to Creed minus Scott Stapp, their album, I think they did two.
Scott
maybe
Stapp had a steady diet of alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you pronounce the guitar player's last name? Mark Treminetti?
Yeah, Terminate, something like that.
Something like that. Dude can slay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when they went and did their side project with Creed minus Scott Stapp,
Yeah.
it was really good. It sounded really good.
Vic says, I work in the audio industry, and let me tell you, most of the newer style music is crap. You can't understand
dude.
the words. There's truly no creativity anymore. And better yet, too much potty mouth. Okay, I'm getting old. Vic, I've heard you talk. You have too much potty mouth sometimes.
Look who's talking over here.
Jeez Louise, that one came in hot. I thought it was jumping the track.
But Vic, to your point, I know it sounds like we might be old and curmudgeon, and we are. Yet last week, I pulled up another video. There's another guy I watch on YouTube, and he pulled up the top 10 on Spotify that week.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching it with Bella and Ryan, and we're listening to all these songs. There was one that was on the rock charts.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that band you sent to me last night, the Red Clay.
Oh, the Red Clay Strays?
Yeah.
Highly
And it's like, wait a
recommend.
second. That's not rock.
I feel like I've done a pretty good job with my kids on music
Yeah.
so far. My older two, especially the younger two, aren't there yet as far as age wise. But Maddie texted me yesterday, and she's like, "Dad, you got to try this band, the Red Clay Strays." So I popped them on, listened for about a half hour, texted this guy, said, "You're welcome."
That's what I listened to this morning on the way
They're
here.
so good, dude.
Yeah, I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
Paul says, I have no issues with any popular band. If someone likes them, then they are doing their job. They're playing to the masses, like we talked about earlier with the magazines. And put pineapple on your pizza. You're damn right you put pineapple on your pizza. Screw anyone that tells you you're wrong for liking what you like.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Just like what you like, dude. Stand on your own ground. Like I'll tell you right now, I think Taylor Swift is overrated. All right, there I said it.
You know what? And I will say to you that I think Taylor Swift in country is underrated. Because
Yes.
I listened to her old country music.
Agreed.
I've even had Bella say,
You played the
Dad-
song "Mean" by Taylor Swift, bro, and I'm not doing the boot scoot and boogie. Like, yeah,
or even Tim McGraw.
yeah.
And I've had Bella say to me, I'm like, she says,
I love Tim McGraw.
I wish she would do country music again. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, her first album, her first pop album was good.
Yeah,
It sounded
It's
good.
not that she's not really good. She's a great writer. She's a good musician. I feel like she's gotten to a point where it was like, Beatlemania, Backstreet Boys, and sing thing, where it's just contagious at this point. And nothing is really groundbreaking or that special. It's just contagious.
I agree, Paul. My beer snob friends that pitch me crap about Coors Light.
Yeah.
I'll take a Coors Light.
This is what I usually do. And if you were at my house last Friday night, you'll see I get a 6-pack of really good IPAs, right? But, dude, I'm a 43-year-old man. I can't drink IPAs all night. I'll have stomach issues all day the next day. Like, I just don't process the way I used to. So I water it in with some really good high-end Coors Light. Like, and if you're going the whole night, right, you're hanging out by the fire 4 or 5 hours, you can't drink IPAs the whole time. You'll be flat on your face.
I don't like IPAs.
You got to bring in the Coors Light. You got to, or stout. You like good stouts.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Same thing. I can't drink more than one stout.
You drink a couple stouts, and then you mix in the Coors Light. Otherwise, you're flat on your face, and then you're in the morning with, irritable bowel syndrome. So. It's funny. I'm looking at my friends and I'm like, "What the hell, guys? We used to do this till 3 a.m. What are you doing?" And then they left. I'm like, "Thank God, dude. I got to go to bed." I act hard.
Well, that's what I told Chrissy when you had asked me if I was going to come over, and I'm like, "No, it's 40 minutes to your house. It's 2 hours back to mine. Yeah. I want to go to bed."
I know.
I love you, but bed sounds really good.
I act like David Goggins. I'm like, "Stay hard, mother. We're going to do this all night."
Yeah.
And the moment everybody leaves, I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, praise Jesus.
I'm so glad they're good. I'm so glad they're gone.
I gotta go to bed.
Let's see.
Nothing like crushing a few bush lattes on a Friday night.
Drew says the tunes that Jacob's hockey team plays pregame just wow. Yeah.
It's...
Let's see. He also said, where did it go? Oh, there you go. He says, I introduced Jacob to Notorious B.I.G. because of a song he listens to. That's a Notorious B.I.G. sound. And that's cool, too.
It's beating Biggie,
I love
Biggie.
finding
it's
those songs.
Biggie. Yeah.
There's YouTube videos out there that talk about, I bet you didn't know that this was sampled from a song.
And I'm here to tell you, there is some great rap music out there.
Biggie, can't you see?
The world just hypnotized me. There's some great rap music out there. There is.
Even if you're from the 90s?
Like, I mean, obviously you got Tupac, you got Biggie, Bone Thugs, especially
you're
in
gonna
the
say
early
today,
days.
there's nothing
Dre,
today that,
Snoop, Eminem. Even Eminem's new stuff I still like. Like it's innovative the way he rhymes words in the middle of sentences and makes it like it's incredible.
Can we just say, if the Chiefs win this weekend and the Lions win this weekend, I want the Super Bowl to be changed to a Taylor Swift versus Eminem battle.
Oh, dude, bring it on. Yes, bring it on.
I will watch the halftime show.
And I, by the way, some of the fun stuff with the Detroit run, let's tie some music in here, is seeing guys like Bob Seger and Eminem and these Detroit, Kid Rock.
Jeff Daniels
out there. Like, just seeing these people out there supporting that team. Like, dude, I am fully on board the Detroit Lions winning it all.
Oh, yeah.
Bandwagon right now. So,
Drew says.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Anything.
Yeah, it's there's some great rap music. The problem is that like everyone is a rapper these days, right?
No.
I actually talked to someone. We were watching. That what's his face? Plays Hawkeye. What's his name?
Jeremy Renner.
So Jeremy Renner's got that show, Renovations, on the Disney Plus.
I did not know this.
Oh, dude, it's really good. He takes massive vehicles and he transforms them into something else. That people need somewhere, like a medical aid station or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So one that he did was for this. There's this really thriving youth community in Chicago, like in the sports and kind of stuff. And he met with them. He's like, "What is something you need?" And he's like, the guy that runs the community. He goes, "You know what's funny? If you ask any of these kids, no matter how good of athletes they are, how good at school they are, what are you going to be or whatever." It was so funny. They all just laughed and they were like, rapper. Like they all think that they're a rapper. So anyways, Jeremy Renner had this idea to build a music studio in this bus.
Okay.
And he brought it to him. It was really cool. But the guy was just like, every youth that comes through here is, he wants you to hear his demo tape. He's going to be a rapper. I say all that to say the rap industry has been so watered down and inundated with crap, copycat, thug life, I'm a gangster, hookers and blow and hose and all that. Like it's just like I'm just done with it. Like I'm just like, be innovative, please. Tell me about part of the thing with Eminem was just like his story and how he wove that into music and that anger and
Well, hell, even Will Smith. Think about Summertime, the song Summertime.
Yeah.
He's telling a story of what it was like for him in South Philly during the summer.
Great.
And it's great. Like, I can dig this. I can relate to this. I didn't grow up in South Philly, but I can relate to this.
Will Smith don't got a cuss in his records to sell, or his music to sell records.
I know.
Well, guess what? I do. So F him, F you too. Yeah. No, it's.
Well, do you remember when MC Hammer went thug?
Can't touch this.
Oh no.
No, I know.
1994.
Yeah.
Pumps in the bump.
Yeah.
Pumps in the bump. Like, bro, you're not. Yeah.
It's not you.
Yeah. You're a pastor.
You're a pastor. I saw you on TVN last night. Yeah, with Paul and Jan Crouch, with purple hair. Anyways, we're going way off on this music tangent, but
I just love music, man, and I love to hear the stories. I love to watch.
Don't let anybody give you a hard time. And honestly, like if you really like music, you got to get off the radio. You got to get off the radio. Like the radio's not going to give you anything. Me, like I'm really into like what I would call like red dirt clay, country road, country music or blues. And you're not going to hear Ryan Bingham and Tyler Childers on the radio.
I introduced him to Ryan Bingham as well.
Good man.
What I said to her is I said, listen to his voice, and she's like, and I said, now go look at his picture, because now Bella's got a phone, so I said, go ahead and Google it. And she's like, that voice coming out of that man? I said, yeah, it sounds like somebody took his voice and just ran it along a gravel dirt road.
Yeah. Same thing with Tyler Childers. You look at him, you're like, this is your company's computer repair guy.
Yeah.
And then he sings and you're like, man, this guy's got some country in him. But like, you're just not going to hear the best music you can hear listening to the top 40 radio. Like,
right. And that's even the same thing with Sirius XM. Like they've got a station called The Highway, which is supposed to be newer country music. You listen to it long enough, you're like, okay, I've heard that song. Okay, I've heard that song. I've heard that song. There's a song.
Do you know that as good as Tyler Childers is, and his following that he has, he just recently, his new song, "In Your Love," is the first song he's ever had that's charted.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy? Like,
Wow.
I mean, artists that good.
There's a song that just came out recently called "Friends,"
Okay.
and I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it, but a lot of you Gen Xers will understand this. Back in middle school and high school, what would you say to somebody if you want to break up with them?
We can still be friends.
Let's still be friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if I shared this.
That's what Rachel told me in 7th grade.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and look what
We
happened.
can still be friends.
She's
Yeah.
like, I'll marry you, but we ain't friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Still true.
Yeah. I'm in the friend zone in my own marriage.
So one of the things that happened to me is when I was in high school, I was dating Christy, and I was dumb enough to go, you know what? I want to do something else. And so
You idiot.
So I said to her, I said, well, hey, maybe we can still be friends. She was the first girl to say to me, no. She said, no, we ain't gonna be friends.
Christmas Vacation where the wife looks at him, she goes, of all the stupid things, I took it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
She said no. I
yeah,
love that.
so that blew me away
Yeah.
as a high schooler. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. There's a structure to this. I say we be friends. You say, okay, let's be friends.
And then we're
don't
very
talk ever
awkward
again.
around each other.
Right. And
Yeah.
we don't ever talk to each other ever again.
Yeah.
And so anyways, this song, I can't remember the artist, but it's a newer song. It's called Friends. And this song, I had Christy listen to it. She goes, nailed it.
They wrote this about your jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because the guy's like, friends, you mean like hang out at the coffee shop and talk about your new boyfriend kind of friends?
Oh.
Yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Oh.
And so I'm just like, he got into my memories.
Oh, dude, middle school, brutal. High school.
Boy, that's a whole different episode right there.
Yeah, dude.
All right, well, let's finish up. A couple things that I do want to put out there. So first thing first is I want to share
Yeah, good job, Rory. You're right on top of it.
right there. Open house tomorrow.
Hosted by
This guy right here in Allen at Lakeland Village from
Ooh,
3
Drew
to
Long.
5
That's a good
p.m.
one. Kenny Chesney is the new Jimmy Butler. Yeah, that's
That's
good,
good.
comparison.
That's good.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Lakeland Village, come check out this house. It is a fantastic house. They just lowered the price to $470. So
If you want to be in the village, man,
absolutely, it's a great location
for a
too.
reasonable price. Yeah.
And then to top that off, it's a doubleheader.
Oh.
I'm going to be out there again on Saturday from 11 to 1. Come on out to the house again. They dropped the price
Rory
to
decided, hey,
$470.
if I'm going to sit around on the computer in my underwear, might as well do it in somebody else's house.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So enjoy that.
Yeah, come on out, say hi. Big shout out to Randy and Michelle. They are on the road heading to the great state of Georgia. God bless you for leaving the state.
/ Alabama.
You're
Good
going
luck.
to
Be
God's
safe.
country now.
Yeah. Take me with you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Adopt me.
That's a whole nother
I
episode.
mean, I know you guys
too.
have enough kids, but adopt me.
So true.
Yeah.
And then one last thing that we have to talk about.
Share the love, buddy.
That's right. Go ahead.
Share the love.
Tell them. Tell
Hey,
them.
guys,
Hey, wait. Is everybody listening? Is everybody listening?
Do we have a graphic for this? Or
No.
not? We didn't use one.
No.
Dude,
You
I
sent me
created
like
so many- I
you
know.
sent me like 6 of
I
them.
figured you take one of them. And like,
You know what? You talk. I'll find it real
all
quick.
right. Hey, no, we so we were trying to come up with something. We like to do. Obviously, if you guys have been following us long enough, we like to do competitions. I don't know about competitions, contests,
Promotions.
And we've done with.
Oh, there we go. I got some. Okay.
We've done
I'll
with
pull them up.
Christmas music. We've done with, we've done with March Madness. We've done with Christmas movies. And Rory had a kind of a cool idea, and we're running with it. We wanted to do something for Valentine's Day for all you lovers out there. But since we're in real estate, we kind of wanted to try to tie it in to houses and homes. And so it started as it's like, hey, just take a picture of you and your special somebody, somewhere that means a lot to you, right? But then we're like, hold on, let's dial it in. Let's dial it into the home. And so the contest is going to be, we want you to send us in your photos, a selfie of you and your, I hate that word, selfie, I'm using it. A self-portrait of you and your loved one in your favorite room of your house. Now, we use the room loosely. It could be outside on your patio, by your fire pit, somewhere on your property, okay? And then attach it with a paragraph or two on why that spot is special to you. So, like for Rory and Christy, I know they love to sit by their fire outside. And it's special to them because they talk about the kids, they get to catch up, enjoy the star. You know, there's all kinds of things he can put about it.
Absolutely.
So we want to see your most special. Now, look, guys.
I know where this is going.
I don't want to see your bare ass sticking out from under the sheets.
I don't want to pass out.
All right. Be more creative than that. We know what you like to do in the primary bedroom, all right? Okay. Because we also like our primary bedroom. But get creative. I mean, if it is the primary bed, it'll be your master bed or whatever, like, cool. But give us some, like, this is why. Like, you know? And so Rory's got some pictures here he's going to throw up. Melman and Gloria.
There you go.
Yeah, Melman and Gloria, they sent this in. They love to watch movies together in their theater room. They like to watch scary movies under a blanket, right? And they're going to tell us. They're going to tell us why.
Yeah.
What else you got there, dude? The Lion and the Lamb, right?
Right next to the fireplace with the flowers, the candles in the background.
It's romantic. Now, look, we're going to keep this contest open. We're going to put some more stuff out on it and kind of promote it. We're going to keep it open for a couple weeks, and then on February 13th, we're going to announce 2 winners. Okay, and the winners will receive a $100 gift card to, was it the restaurant of their choice?
Yep.
The restaurant of their choice to celebrate romantically Valentine's Day together. So this is something we just kind of want to do for everybody that we thought would be fun. What is it? All the single people out there, thank you for our chance at winning nothing.
You know what? Hey.
No. You could take a picture. Show us where you like to be.
Take a picture with the Cougulants.
Yeah, I like to be in the Cougulants. I'd like to be the winner, please, says Mike. Yeah. Hey, this is just a way to have a little bit of fun. You to show off like something special between you and your spouse. Tied into real estate a little bit with the house. And honestly, Paul, dude, for all you single people out there, feel free to enter. This is my favorite room in the house.
Right.
This is why. Now you got a card to ask that girl out on a date that you've been wanting to ask out, whatever. So get creative, have fun with it. Send your submissions into Mark.
Nope. 15. What are you talking about over there? Are you?
Oh no. Oh, that's right. How are we
you
doing
breaking down over there?
We got a whole sheet.
We'll break it out. Let's see. Today's the 25th. Next week is next week the 1st?
Paul can't please everyone.
What is next week?
Well, today's the 25th because yesterday was National Peanut Butter Day.
Yes, the 1st. Yes. So we're actually rolling this out on the 1st. So
take a picture of some of those Coors Lights, Paul. Well played.
Nailed it. Nailed it. So what we'll do is next show. So next week we will actually roll out the instructions.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of giving you a taste of it today. Start thinking about pictures, start thinking about stories, and the next week we'll give you guys the instructions on how to submit it. It's going to be all on social media.
Yeah.
So it'll be on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And we'll have a hashtag for you and all that good stuff. But
get creative, have fun with it, make us laugh.
Yeah, make us laugh, make us cry. Yeah,
all that good stuff.
Which will be easy for me.
So yeah.
Let's see.
It's gonna be fun.
Paul put a picture. He put an emoji of a picture. There you go.
The beer or the whiskey.
The whiskey. There we go.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. We're gonna roll out the instructions. Talk a little bit more about it. But that's what we have coming down. A little Valentine's Day competition, and then as we power through Valentine's Day, we're gonna go right into peanut butter season here in a couple months probably. And we've had a lot of people reach out to us. I'm really excited. Jeremiah Gunya popped in the conversation again yesterday, and they were so instrumental in the last one. Pam's chatting with us. Rainier Title's chatting with us. Cross country, like all these different, and it's going to get bigger than that. I'm really excited.
Rainier Title.
It's time to reached out to get back to them glory days where we were swimming in peanut butter. Steph Hilfer. So it's going to be fun.
And it's an amazing cause. I mean, you don't understand
the value of peanut butter.
And we didn't. All those years ago when we met with the director of the Puyallup Food Bank, we had no idea how important and instrumental peanut butter is to their operation.
Well, and it's, you just talk about, I mean, his big thing was it's a relatively inexpensive, easy to grab snack for parents who might be struggling to give their kids a PB&J, a peanut butter. Dude, look, when I was a kid, we didn't have a ton, right? I looked forward to that peanut butter spoon as a snack after dinner. Like that was like my treat, right? We weren't getting banana splits and sundaes and all kinds of stuff. Like the peanut butter spoon was great. I loved it. And
it can sit on the shelf for a long time too.
Yeah, the shelf life is incredible. And so it's something that Rory started it out before Luke and Rory we kind of took it to the next level when we first got together. Scamdemic happened, everything happened, and now we're gonna get back into it.
Yep,
so,
definitely.
So, yeah.
So, and then we're gonna have a few guests in
we have
February.
some guests coming.
So
in
we got we're excited. We got some cool people coming on.
Nars Martinez, director of FBC Northwest Alliance, chairman of the Baden Girls Basketball All-America Committee, is going to be joining us, talking about his journey, why he chose girls basketball, the direction that that's going. Really excited about that. Obviously, you know that's near and dear to my heart. Another really cool one, Ryan Bucciarelli, who we met through the Tacoma Rainiers years back. He was one of their directors of executive sales, and he's since moved on to the St. Louis Blues of the NHL. So he's in professional sports. He will be joining us from St. Louis, just catching up on his life and just learning about that industry and how cool it is to be plugged into like pro sports. And so, what else we got? Who else? You have somebody else?
Probably gonna have trying to get a buddy that I used to work with, who's now a coach, a business coach.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look to see if we can get him on. Also, my son, who is killing it right now in the YouTube sphere.
Yeah, dude.
Bringus Studios.
Young Master Pitts.
Go check him out.
What does it say it again?
Bringus.
Bringus Studios. He's got near 100,000 followers. He does some really cool stuff.
His latest video, and I think you'd appreciate this, go check it out on YouTube. He modified, basically he pimped the ride of the game Operation. You know the game that we used to play as kids?
Way to go, Exhibit.
You know how you take that little tweezer thing and you pull the Charlie horse
when you
out?
do it, a gunshot goes off in the background.
So close. He basically put these high-powered motors on the game, and so every time you would hit the side, it would feel like an electric shock, even though it's not an electric shock. It's just the motors. They're so powerful. And watching him on video is hilarious because he starts stressing out.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to, do I cut the red wire or the blue wire?
Paddles. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it's good. Check it out. That's his latest one. I want to get him on here.
YouTube influencer.
Oh, he's awesome.
Will be joining us.
He's surpassed his father in all aspects of YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get some of those plaques soon where they send him like, he
will.
Many followers and stuff. So we're really excited to have him on.
Matt says, I'm kind of popping in and out and seeing you talk about Valentine pictures and peanut butter. I'm intrigued and terrified. You should be.
Valentine pictures and peanut butter.
Yeah, well, there you go, Paul. There's an idea too. I definitely need to rewatch the whole show. Yes, you should rewatch it 4 times.
All right, guys, that's it. Instructions coming for the Valentine stuff. We're really excited about that. Peanut butter drive coming up. And some awesome guests.
Awesome guests, yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Thanks for welcoming my much smarter than myself wife onto the show. We'll be bringing her on once a month to talk about all things financing.
Yep.
That's it.
And reach out to her if you have questions. That's why we bring her on.
Love you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Be well with each other. Give each other a high five and a smack on the butt. We're all in this together.
Keep your hand away from my ass.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
1:15.